Well, folks, something a little bit different on the MVP podcast this week, because we're going to leave the football behind and the cricket and the rugby and some of the main sports to talk a little bit about horse racing, because we all know that January of any year is a big month for horse racing, particularly down in the Western Cape. We've seen the running of the Lormaran King's Plate for 2026, but on Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 31st of January, we're back at Hollywood Bets, Cape Town, Kenilworth Racecourse for the running of the 2026 Cape Met. And the WSB Cape Met is going to be live as part of our broadcast on SuperSport, your World of Champions. And we've got a full 4-hour broadcast for you. So it's part of our world feed, and I'll be down there with our team bringing you multiple races on the card, including the big one, which is race 8 on the program. So join us on SuperSport, World of Champions, from 1300 hours through to 1500 hours. That's 1 p.m. Sorry, not 1500 hours, 1700 hours. It's 4 hours. So from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock on Saturday. So I thought we'd just run through the card and give you some feel, so that if you are going to watch, and maybe you can get some skin in the game, what do the experts say? Well, let me start by saying, when it comes to horse racing, there are no experts, but everybody has an opinion. What I will say is that it's an interesting race, the 2026 Cape Met, because only 11 runners, and some will be a bit disappointed with that, but I thought after running of the Lormaran King's Plate that it was unlikely that Mike de Kock's duo of the Dave the King and Jan van Gooyen, who's the 3-year-old, would run and accept, and they didn't. So apart from that, those two that aren't in the race is pretty much what we'd expect. There's plenty of quality in the 11 horse field. Now, the big talking point is that of those 11 runners, trainer Justin Snaith has 6. So he's got more than 50% of the runners in this year's Cape Met. That in its own right is fascinating, because it does mean that he probably holds the key, certainly to what the pace of the race is likely to be. I think Okavango is likely to be the Snaith runner to go to the front and set a pace. Callum Murray rides him, but the two protagonists for me that would be top of the Snaith list are likely to be last year's winner when he won as a 3-year-old. This is 8 on 18. Richard Ferree back on board. He did win the Cape Met last year under just 54 kilograms, but now being a year older, back to defend his title, he's got to carry 59.5 kilograms. Just quickly with him, he hasn't had the best preparation. I'm sure Justin Snaith, who spent some time talking to my colleague Nico Kritsiotis, would have liked to have had another run under his belt. The return run, which was in the King's Plate, was probably a little bit underwhelming. Having said that, he wasn't given a tough ride or a tough race by Oisin Murphy, and was just hanging around there, perhaps not doing his best work at the finish, but he would have been desperately in need of that run, and there's no doubt that he would have improved lengths and lengths with that run under his belt. Question is, does the Met come just one run too soon for him, which might leave him vulnerable to the stable companion See It Again, who has a relationship with the Cape Met? 2 years ago, Per Straden rode him. It was a small field then too. He went off at something like 6 to 10 and ran below his best. It was won that year's race by Double Superlative, who was the stable companion, and that was a big surprise on the day. But no surprise if you were Nick Johnson, because having spoken to the owner afterwards, he felt the Double Superlative had a big run in him. But throw forward to last year, and once again it was run by a Nick Johnson runner in the form of 8 on 18. So could See It Again make it a 3-timer in a row for the owner, Nick Johnson, but also for Justin Snaith? I'm of the opinion that he is going to be the horse to beat. So if you're looking for an each-way play, I'm going to give you a little bit of value right now. But first of all, let's just say that See It Again is likely to be the favourite on the day. The money for him has been consistent, and Andrew Fortune, his rider, is confident. Not that he is never, ever confident. Let's just talk a little bit about the broadcast that we've got coming up for you. So on Saturday, it will be starting at 1300 hours, and we'll have live coverage. Just for those that enjoy some skin in the game, don't forget that the tote will be very popular on the day. There's a R1 million Pick 6 carryover, so you'll want to watch all of those Pick 6 races live on your World of Champions. We're expecting a pool of 7 million there. There's also a quartet carryover. For those that don't know, the quartet is where you have to tip the first, second, third, or select the first, second, third, and fourth horses in the correct order, and there'll be a 2 million rand pool expected in that, with a 500,000 rand carryover. And then last but by no means least, there's also a 500,000 rand, $500,000 carryover to the jackpot 3. So lots of opportunities for punters to get involved. Just on that, if you're looking to win your share of 100,000 rand, then SuperSport Bet have got a lovely promo going, and they are putting up 100,000 rand, which will be split between anybody who can back the winner of the race. How it works is this: if you put 50 rand or more on any horse in the Cape Met, then you will be in a position, if your horse wins, to share a share of that 100,000 rand. So just thinking about that a little bit, in that particular scenario, I wouldn't be going for the favourites, because obviously by definition there'll be a lot of people putting 50 rand plus bets on the fancied runners. If you can find the winner of the race that might be a bit of a shrewdie, well, then you're going to be getting a bigger share of that 100,000 rand. So that's a nice initiative. Lots of good initiatives around the race. That one brought to you by SuperSport Bet. So I've saved my each way play to last. Now, those of you who follow horse racing, you'll know that in the past, my good friend Nico Kritsiotis, who's our commentator up here in Johannesburg, spends a lot of time studying, talking to whether it be Justin Snaith, Muzieni, the whole team down there. And it's interesting that both Nico and I have come up with the same shrewdie in the race, a horse that we think is overpriced. And that horse is what I want to talk about. We like a horse called Gladiatorian. Now, this is a weight for age race. It's a race that will suit Gladiatorian. He is the third highest rated runner in the race. He's rated a 127, so he's certainly no mug, is Gladiatorian. And I think with the 2 runs in Cape Town under his belt, Sean Veal back in the irons, I think he'll run a good race. So the last time I looked, his price was 16 to 1, and I think he'll run better than his odds suggest. So coming back to the each way play, I think that's where some value lies, Gladiatorian. Summing up, make sure that you join us. It's going to be live coverage from Cape Town on this Saturday's Cape Met for 2026, live from 1 o'clock through to 5 p.m. This is Neil Andrews saying join us, because there's going to be some fabulous racing, and it'll all be live right here on SuperSport.